Hello, Leo, and welcome to 2026. Now, you've probably heard me talk about how 2026 is a year of action. Now, that's for everybody, but for you specifically, the action that you're taking this year is rather personal and has a lot to do with your personal development. This is a year where you really understand yourself and you begin to take up space. It's more than just about where you're at currently. It's about where you could go, what you could build, and what you can experience, and the wisdom gained along the way. Like I said before, this year is going to be very personal for you. There's going to be a lot of opportunities for personal development and growth. This could be a year where your creativity skyrockets, or where you literally just learn to take your rightful place on the throne. Either way, this is a year full of passion, excitement, and adventure, all sponsored by the universe. So, if you want to know more, stick around. You definitely don't want to miss this. Hello, my loves. As always, I hope that this video finds you well and in excellent spirits. If you're new around here, my name is Mel. I'm a professional astrologer, and I'm the founder of Divine Feminine Works, where I help people unlock their divinity and discover their magic. So if you're new, welcome. And as always, if you are returning, welcome back. So, this video is all about the astrology for 2026 for the sign of Leo rising. Now, I do all of my horoscopes traditionally, meaning that they are done by rising sign. It's not to say that if you're a Leo sun, you're not going to get some information about this. However, this forecast is definitely geared toward Leo rising. So make sure you check out your corresponding rising sign. I'll leave the link to the playlist in the description box below so you can peruse the different rising signs, especially if you're cross watching for somebody and you want to know what their year is going to be like. No shame, no judgment. The playlist is in the description box for you to look through. All right. So without further ado, let's jump right in. So to begin, let's talk about the core astrological transits that are happening this year and how they're going to affect you as a Leo rising. So first and foremost, Saturn and Neptune are moving into the sign of Aries. And this is happening in your ninth house of higher education, long distance travel, and expansion. Now, you kind of got a taste of this in 2025 because for a hot second, both Saturn and Neptune dipped into Aries real quick, and then they retrograded back into Pisces. But in January, Neptune is going to be moving into Aries, and in February, Saturn is going to be moving into Aries as well. This allows you to literally dream a new dream. It allows you to expand your mind. It allows you to embark on a new adventure. And this adventure isn't just something that's local, it's not just something that's small. Saturn does things substantially. Saturn wants to structure something for the long term. So, how could this play out in real life for you? So, let's say you've always wanted to be a doctor or you wanted to get your PhD. This would be the time where you would enroll or apply for upper level coursework. Or maybe there's some sort of amazing safari, or there's some sort of huge trip that you've always wanted to take. This is when you plant those seeds. But it's kind of bigger than that. Neptune wants us to dream, a huge vision, something that feels fantastical. And Saturn wants us to create something that's structural that will stand the test of time. And the ninth house is the house, apart from just long distance travel and higher education, like I just mentioned before, it's about expansion. Now, expansion here is wisdom gained through experience. And so this may mark a time where you find yourself going on new adventures, experiencing things that are wildly different than you've experienced, stepping out of your comfort zone in a very real and tangible sort of way. But all of this newness that's happening here, it's geared toward a particular dream that you have. It's geared towards some sort of expansion. It's the universe's way of having you step into this whole new level of you. And I'll get more into that in a second. But that's essentially Saturn and Neptune entering Aries in a nutshell. And then to piggyback off that, we have Uranus entering Gemini, and this is happening in your 11th house of friendship and goals. The 11th house is also known as the house where you wish upon a star. So, between the ninth house and the 11th house, both of which are getting attention via Saturn, Neptune, and Uranus this year for you, There is this call, there is this push, there is this impetus for you to think of a new dream a new dream, wish upon a star. Now, Uranus in Gemini is going to sort of jailbreak what you think your dreams are supposed to be. It's going to give you new ways. It's going to perhaps have you speak and relate to new people that could help open your mind and could help you reach your goals. This could be a year where you start to circulate new friendship groups. Maybe you're having these weird and interesting conversations with people randomly, and now they're friends. Now they become part of your network, right? Your friends can definitely help not only open your mind, have adventures with, but they can also help facilitate your goals. This is something very important for you to think about and remember as the year progresses. The other underlying energy that you're probably going to feel this year is this sense of freedom. Now, this freedom could be like wanderlust, right? Like wanting to experience new places and the freedom to travel. It could also be freedom that is facilitated by the people that you hang out with, the people that you call friends, the people that you associate with. Freedom is definitely a feeling that you're going to be feeling a lot of this year. And anything or anyone that stifles you, that keeps you limited, that doesn't allow you to expand, grow, and take up space, oh, it's gonna become painfully obvious, and it's gonna be very uncomfortable. So anything that doesn't push the needle when it comes to expanding your mind, that doesn't allow you to grow or develop, kinda has to go, and Uranus and Gemini is gonna help facilitate that, especially on the friendship front. And then finally, and most importantly, Jupiter is moving into your sign in June. So expansion is going to be a thing. Now, since the first house represents our physical bodies, whenever Jupiter transits our first house, and this happens once every 12 years, the propensity to gain weight, to expand physically is a thing, so be mindful of that, especially in the second half of the year. You may want to curb your appetite. You may notice that you're just a lot more ravenous than usual. That may be Jupiter at work in your first house. But on a more spiritual and a more woo-woo kind of level, Jupiter in your first house is giving you wisdom. It's helping you expand. It's helping you grow. It's helping you see new things. It's also helping you take up more space. And especially if you are stuffing your face and if you are expanding physically, you may physically take up more space, but Jupiter wants you to take up more space energetically, wants you to be seen more. Now, you guys are the signs of visibility. So that may not, let me say this. Boilerplate astrology says that you guys are the sign of visibility, but it's not the case that every Leo wants to be in front of the camera and wants the limelight and always wants to be noticed. Depends on the specifics of your natal chart, right? But Jupiter wants to bring more of that to your life this year, beginning this year and into 2027. So it's really important that you understand who you are, what makes you tick, what you are passionate about. Jupiter wants to help expand that. Now, the thing with Jupiter that you have to understand as well is that Jupiter expands whatever it touches. So if this whole thing is a mess, if there's a lot going on, that's going to be exacerbated and expanded as well. So keep that in mind. However, taking up space is definitely a thing, and Jupiter is going to help you do that this year. Now, the other thing that's important to discuss with respect to the astrology for this year is the eclipses. Now, one thing I forgot to mention in the first part of this video is that, Uranus entering Gemini, Saturn and Neptune in Aries, even to a certain extent, Jupiter entering your sign of Leo. These are kind of long term, long range transits. These are the outer planets. They take longer to go through a sign. Saturn's going to be in Aries for 2.5 to 3 years. Neptune's going to be in Aries for close to 14. Uranus is going to be in Gemini for close to 8. And Jupiter's only going to be there in your sign for a year. But still, these are long range kind of things. The eclipses, on the other hand, are short bursts of energy. These are inflection points energetically throughout the year. These are the times that we don't forget. These are the situations that take us by surprise. So, of course, I need to include it in the forecast. So, there's an interesting dynamic happening this year because we are closing out one story and simultaneously opening another. So, for you, or for all of us, the story that's ending is the story that is along the Virgo and Pisces axis. Now, this axis has a lot to do with service. It also has a lot to do with reality versus fantasy, or real versus spiritual, right? Earth versus the outer realms. And this is a story that's ending for us. all of us. And so for you as a Leo, this is happening between your second house of money and your eighth house of shared resources. Your second house is your personal house of money. Your eighth house is your house of shared resources and debt. So there's a money story that is ending, that is concluding. Where at the same time, the story that is beginning is the story of personal identity and relationships, because we're going to have eclipses in Leo and Aquarius as well. So the first eclipse of the year is a solar eclipse in Aquarius, and it's happening in your seventh house. And this is happening on February 17th. Something new on the relationship front is going to be presented to you. This could be a new committed relationship, a new business partnership, or a new level in an existing relationship. Either way, whatever transpires is meant to take you into the future. There's going to be a lot of communication. There could be some integration when it comes to tech. So if you're looking to get booed up, if you're looking for commitment, dating apps may be a thing. Maybe not for you personally, but the solar eclipse in Aquarius may have you doing something real quirky. Maybe you're not someone who likes the online dating life, but Aquarius, that's solar eclipse in Aquarius is like, why don't you get on the app real quick? And before you know it, you meet your soulmate. No guarantees, no promises. Don't quote me on that, but that's how this could play out. Same thing for business partnerships. A new partnership, a new business opportunity, brand deal, sponsorship, whatever could materialize at this time. So that could be super exciting. Then the next eclipse is a lunar eclipse in Virgo. And this is happening on March 3rd, and it's happening in your second house of personal finances. So at that time, a money matter is going to be highlighted and there's going to be a culmination. Virgo has probably been trying to get you to be perhaps more orderly, do some financial cleanup, and at this eclipse, that cleanup may be complete and the universe may be wrapping things up and tying loose ends in a beautiful, pristine, and organized bow. Okay. Then the next eclipse is a solar eclipse in your sign, and this is happening on August 12th. This is a reinvention for you. This is a new way to be visible, to take up space. And Jupiter will just have entered your sign at this time. So, this eclipse in the beginning of August is going to be very personal, very expansive, very you. So, that should be really exciting. And then the final eclipse for the year is happening in the sign of Pisces on August 28th, and it's happening in your eighth house of shared resources, intimacy, and debt. This is the very conclusion of a money story that's been playing out since the beginning of 2025. So this could be paying down debt, closing out some accounts. This could be an investment that matures. This could be getting an inheritance. This could be wrapping up a tax issue. Either way, there's going to be this wrapping up and this crescendo when it comes to shared resources, debt, or investments. So that is probably going to feel like a relief. It's probably going to feel like, okay, that chapter is done. Now we can focus on our own money, or maybe enjoying the dividends or enjoying this investment or this inheritance, right? So that should feel pretty good. All right. So that is the eclipses. Those are the eclipses for 2026 for you in a nutshell. All right, Leo. So to recap, how is 2026 looking and feeling like for you? This is a year where your mind is going to be blown, new adventures, and the universe is urging you to be visible and to take up more space. It's a year of personal development thanks to Jupiter in your sign. With Saturn and Neptune in Aries in your ninth house, this has a lot to do with expansion and wanderlust and new adventures that are going to take you into the future, adventures that you can start tangibly working towards, that can help expand your level of life, how you live life, how you experience life, and ultimately your wisdom. Okay. Your friends are going to be particularly helpful, especially once Uranus enters Gemini. There is going to be a money story that is concluding this year, whereas there is a personal development story and a relationship story that is starting and that is going to blossom. But either way, the one thing I want to leave you with for this forecast is take up space, be visible, be you, shine. The universe fully supports it this year. All right, my loves. Thank you so much for tuning in. Oh, I almost forgot. Maybe you want to know more about 2026. Maybe this was cute. This was a nice little appetizer, but you want a meal, something a little meatier, right? There are two different ways that you can satisfy that hunger when it comes to what 2026 has to offer for you. The first, if you want to have a place where you have all of the dates for everything, where you have some activities, where you learn more about what the year has in store for you as a Leo rising, then you'll want to purchase my 2026 Rising Sign Map Leo Edition. It's another video that goes more in depth into the astrology for you. Plus, it's a PDF guide with all of the important dates for the astrology, some journal prompts, some activities, and just general advice that you can use to make the most of the energy for you as a Leo rising this year. So if you're interested in that, it's linked in the description box below, as well tagged to this video. Now, let's say you want more. Let's say you want the premium upper level experience. Sign up for my 2026 year ahead reading, which is called The Next Chapter. We will go through the astrology from A to Z as it relates to your particular natal chart, so you know exactly what to anticipate, and most importantly, when to anticipate it. So if you're interested in that, spots are limited because I only offer this reading up until February. So if you're interested, sign up sooner rather than later. The link is in the description box below as well. All right, my loves, thank you so much for tuning in. I wish you nothing but the absolute best for 2026 and beyond, and I'll see you in my next video. Take care.